Document Radio. My name is Adam Asher, and I'm one of the producers of the show. The things that you hear over the next hour represent the views of New Word Document and the people making them. All opinions and quotations in no way represent River West Radio and are the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be here today. I'm just a little bit disappointed that Trotsky cannot be here. Sadly, he's taking some precious time off, which he needs, trust me. But we have in the studio our guest from week 2, Chad Orr from Two Brothers, One Mind.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Hey, Chad, it's great to have you on here. We just heard Diametric Correlator and the $35 Sound. That's from their self-titled album. The track is called Hot Chicks with Chotch Boyfriends. You can find that on Stir Up Your Gray Matter Productions. They got a Bandcamp site, stirupyourgraymatter.bandcamp.com. We don't have many announcements for you this week. The only thing we really have to announce is that we're going to be unveiling a new interview segment. I've got a preview track that we'll be playing after this that's going to basically be a mashup of 2 interviews I did with 2 friends of mine to give some insightful industry advice and trying to make it in the art field, because that's what we like doing here the most. I think when Chad was on here, especially when we had you on here, everyone really enjoyed all the advice you had, so that's something we're going to keep on doing.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear there was such a great response back to that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to find people that have actually made it quotations in the air. Like I know maybe you don't. It must be hard sometimes when it's on your side,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I definitely take joy in helping other people. I mean, it's one thing I've always done, from coaching basketball, which you've experienced yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, did I experience it!
It's like we'll have to talk about that later if we have time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. I've always been like the mentor type and trying to help people succeed in their path. And if it's something I have a little more expertise in, I definitely don't mind sharing my knowledge, so to say.
Well, I'm going to share just a brief bit of knowledge that we have a New Word Document live show at the River West Public House, 815 East Locust Street. There's only 2 bar co-ops in the nation. I was at one of their meetings, and they were talking about why they chose to be a bar, and they said, well, what will make the money quickest? Like, what's the quickest thing will make money?
Especially Milwaukee, out of all places.
It worked out for me. I think they're going to actually be able to buy their building shortly, and they've only been in operation for like a year and a half. So
goes to show, if you're going to open up anything in Milwaukee, open up a bar.
Yeah.
If you're buying the building after a year and a half, you said?
Year and a half of operation, yeah.
Yeah.
And under unorthodox, usually, it was more orthodox like 120 years ago. They actually set the standards for minimum wage, lots of things if you research co-ops. But yeah, it's an orthodox model.
Oh, right on.
But, July 29th, 7 p.m., sign up for the open mic night. We ask for a $3 donation. If you don't have anything, that's fine. It's 2 for 1 night, so you can get 2 for 1 on your drinks. That being said, Chad, we were talking about discussing our 4th of July. Is that what we're coming in with this? Are we going to do that now?
Yeah, well, did you have a good 4th of July? Did you do anything special? I'm sure mine might be a little more exciting just of what I've experienced. So
I'll be the week lead-in.
You can be the week lead-in for this one. I don't know.
I'll be the week lead-in for this one. My friend Stefan Dosanich, who was part of Elusive Parallelograms, they were our guests, I think, in week 4 or 5. They just released an EP called Habits.
Okay.
He's from Serbia. And so obviously, different countries, they have different day of independence, right? They all have their own Independence Day. And needless to say, it's not.
Wait a minute, this is news to me. They're not all 4th of July like America.
I know, that's what I thought too. But interestingly enough, his birthday is on the 4th of July, so he still ends up celebrating it. So Stefan, Sandra, Megan, and I, we walked around the art museum. We brought a backpack full of beer and just drank a bunch of beer and sat out there watching. So nothing too exciting, but a great time with, I like small groups, honestly. When I was younger, I would do the house parties, be real wild. And then right around when I got to 24, I started just, kicking it with smaller crowds. And that's actually what I appreciate the most now,
That's that was the first Thursday, wasn't it, for the art museum?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it is because it's the first.
Yeah, the first Thursday. If you don't know
you're
this,
right.
Milwaukee County residents.
It's free day.
In Art Museum.
It's free day. I didn't know that.
He's like, damn, I paid and it didn't stop me. No, actually, my 4th of July was pretty funny. I'm not big into parades, but I have a 2-year-old son. So we decided, hey, there's a parade walking distance from my house. So if we're going to start the whole parade theme, we might as well do it with our little kid. And we're right at the end of the parade. This is the Cudahy Parade. They go down from, I think, Grange and Lake Drive, and then they end over basically near my house, just a little bit more north of Layton Avenue on Lake Drive. And, we got there right as the parade was starting, and, we saw the whole parade coming at us, and started off with, like, the traditional cops, and then the ambulance, and then the fire truck, and then the
perimeter
VFW.
control.
Yeah, perimeter control, and, the old guys marching with the gun, shooting off bullets every now and then, right?
Where do the Shriners come in? I'm sorry, it's been a while. Do they come in all still? Are they in the front lines?
Coincidentally, I only got to about the VFW and then the color guard.
Okay.
And then there was this one gentleman that was throwing candy from his, those old automobiles that everybody has in parades that are just, not fit for the road now, but they can drive them in parades and that's it. Well, he's trying to drive and throw candy, and I guess apparently the news said that he had a heat exhaustion, but he was going to hit his brake and he hit the gas pedal, and he nailed the color guard in front of him, nailed the rifleman, and the guy, I guess, went about 14 feet in the air, landed on the windshield, and
14 feet.
The car, that's what the news reporter goes by, so I'm going by his math of 14 feet, which he wasn't even there, but so he went up in the air, landed on the windshield, the car kept going, they had to stop this guy because apparently it was, like I said, the heat exhaustion that caused this old gentleman to nail the color guard with this.
Wow.
Both gentlemen are good. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, they're okay?
Yeah, they're
That's
okay
good.
at least. But they were on the ground for a while. I mean, it was a big commotion. Then, the fair director, this woman who was, kind of stopping everything, she just walks by us like, hey, someone just got hit by a car. We're going to close this road. Somebody just got hit by a car. I'm like, so nonchalantly, not freaking out. Like, this happens every year at Cudahy. Oh, yeah. We got to detour them up Kirkwood now because somebody just got nailed by a car by that old guy again.
Two thoughts come to my mind. Maybe it was something politically motivated, like it was an accident.
Yeah.
But they planned it. And then my second thought is, how old is this guy? Because you always hear stories of someone where that happens, I mistook the brake for the gas pedal, and it's always someone 70 plus.
Right.
And that's why I'm wondering, so do you know the age of this individual?
I think they said 83 years old. Yeah, the old classic Florida driver incident.
Heat stroke. More like, I don't want to get sued stroke.
It's more like, oh crap, I can't believe I just nailed the color guard. Quick, I might as well just keep driving as fast as I can, so it looks like... Because if I just stop here and get in my car, I'm going to be like, oh my god, just some old guy hit the random guy. If I just keep driving for another block, I'll blame it on the heat stroke. That's what I'm just going to go with.
And you said this sounds like a viral video to me almost, but I mean, this made national news.
Well, yeah, I was talking to my mom on the phone. She's in Florida, and she's like, yeah, I saw it on the news. They were talking about it. They said Milwaukee, they didn't say Cudahy. But I was like, oh, is that funny? I mean, not funny. I feel completely horrible for the guy. I mean, the last place you should get hit by a car is in
funny,
in
a
parade.
A guy in the guillotine. Funny.
Nudge your friend funny. But,
about him, huh?
It's going to be funny for the color guard guy. Now that he's okay and from years to come, it's like...
What if he sees the only car footage and it traumatizes him? Every time he sees it, he just has PSTD or PTSD. I don't know. If he's listening, I apologize.
Yeah, I apologize. I hope you're doing well, and God bless you if you're listening. That'd be great.
Sure, yeah.
In this hospital bed listening to River West Radio.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, I think this might be a good moment to do a quick segue into the interview segment. So we're going to be premiering this soon. This starts with soon. Oh, man, I wish I could control that. I threw out my voice from, again, maybe we'll get to this story, but from vomiting so much yesterday.
Barfing his brains out.
And the bile went up my esophageal chamber and just it threw it out, so now I'm doing the prepubescent squeeches, and I wish I could control it more often because it would be great.
Not alcohol related. It's
not
actually physical labor related.
Well, we can keep him wanting.
Oh,
we don't want to give him too much now.
I never laughed so hard.
But what we're going to do is we're going to play this preview for you, and from there we're going to go to a track from a good friend of mine. and then we'll be right back with you with Chad Orr from Two Brothers, One Mind. New Word Document Radio presents.
I went there on the seat of my pants. Like, painted the Buddha, was asked to, like, help with certain things, and then...
And I also do commission work, so if you need any paintings done, you know, for birthdays, loved ones, I paint about anything.
A new segment.
I guess I'm a one-man company. My production companies.
This individual who wants me to paint Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Phantom all in one. So that's going well.
There's been times when I've definitely not wanted to work, nor considered myself to be an artist.
With honest insight.
Yeah, well, to be completely honest, I sucked at, being a painter for quite a while, just because I was horrible at talking to people. I'm not a very social person, but it's really about the people you talk to. That's the only way you can get commissions.
Oh, 10 by 10 by 10. Yeah, okay. Ridiculous, yeah. It was, Aaron Christensen, he was the artist that had, like, created that. And I just helped with the paint, like I said, and was asked to come down to join.
I really don't want to work for the man anymore. I want to make a living painting, so.
The passion is where things get conflicted, and it's like, wait a minute. You know, there were days when it was like, this is what we're doing, and then there were days like, then what's the deal?
You always run into something you don't want to paint if you are working commission-based. And I try to alter those as much as I can so that they're somewhat in the realm of what I'm interested in.
Until a piece is done, you know, I feel that it's like, look, this is what I do, and I don't necessarily profit from it, but I do.
Keep trying, and why don't you make some art out of those rejection letters?
I would say don't give up on your dreams as artists coming out of school.
Oils and charcoal are my two preferred mediums.
And for me personally, what I meant by that, I suppose, is that I don't necessarily profit. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing artwork.
Coming soon to New Word Document Radio on River West Radio, starting with guest interviewees Fritz McBride and Sandra Boskamp.
And it's so bad, it is half
my good friend Dave. That was his band Farewell Scalar.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, they got a following going, and they're doing a lot of stuff. Also with Stir Up Your Gray Matter Productions. The track is titled "Spilling Mississippi." I don't know, Chad. You've got the paper in front of you. The album, it's Fallasu. I failed French.
Oh.
No, I mean, like, maybe you can know how,
well, yes.
how do you pronounce this, but if you go up to, that's another Stir Up Your Gray Matter, so if you go up to Stir Up Your Gray, yeah, Fallasu.
I do have a translator app on my
That
my
seems like a
iPhone.
lot of work.
That does seem like a lot
turning
of
a
work.
phone
Yeah,
on.
no. Yeah, not happening.
Yeah, but that's from my good buddy David Winsky over at Farewell Scalar. Great track. You guys can find more of Farewell Scalar.
And if you want to Google it,
there.
since we completely slaughtered it, it's FAUX question mark exclamation mark SU exclamation mark.
Good point. Good point. And also, if anyone has any questions for Chad while we're on the air, or in general for any future guests, you can check out the episode descriptions at riverwestradio.com. We're broadcasting out of the beautiful River West Film and Video. And you can email us also at newworddocument@gmail.com. Speaking of emails, we've had some listeners asking some questions after your week, too.
Oh, yeah?
One was from a magician friend of mine wondering about booking college gigs because that's something he wanted to get into. And I know you've had success with that. That's something you've done. Is there anything you can talk about today?
Yeah, I can go
Perhaps
into that a
advice
little
in
bit.
that?
Yeah, that was our first major market that we got into as professional entertainers. And, yeah, college gigs are great. I mean, the one thing I love about college shows, corporate shows, or any of those is you're dealing with other people's money. And I mean, and
I
in
enjoy that as
essence,
well.
yeah, I mean, and what I mean by that is it's not coming out of the students' pockets. So it's not like
okay,
they
sure.
have to penny pinch to try to find a local magician for $100 instead of getting a professional one for several thousand that can do
Gotcha.
way more than whatnot. But I mean, with other people's money, they have a budget that they have to work around. So for one particular event, if they have $20,000, they are working their hardest to use that $20,000, because if they don't use that $20,000 and they only go, let's say, $18,000 this year, well, guess what? The budget committee for the next year is going to say they put on a great event for $18,000. They don't need that extra $2,000. So
Sure.
now the budget's going to be $18,000 from here on out. So a lot of times they like to spend what they have, otherwise they lose that funds for the following year. So when I say other people's money, it's not off the wall to ask, if you are professional and you have the means to go out and put on a professional show. You can ask for $3,500 to $5,000 plus travel, and they're willing to spend it because, again, it's other people's money. Now, if you're going to do a birthday show, what father's going to bust out $3,500? I mean, it's just not unlikely. So when I started getting into professional shows, I wanted to go with what the analogy was, OPM, other people's money. Same with corporate. They have X amount of dollars for each holiday event, and that person wants to. Who's in charge of putting on an event wants to put on a great event, so they're not going to penny pinch themselves. They're going to go on, spend all the money that's available there. And
So do you approach these people then? And if so, how do you find them?
yeah, that's interesting actually, is because when I first started doing this, I got some great advice from a friend, and I was like, oh, I can do that. And so my whole mentality was I want to find out who the person is that's the decision maker for these particular events, and I want to send them a personal email. And I Googled every single college in North America, and
That's
I got
a lot of Googling.
it was
When
a
I
lot
Google
of
myself,
Googling, man.
it's not usually that, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was tedious work, I'm not going to lie, but I created a database of every single university, and on top of that, I got in that Google search, who is the student activities director for that
Okay,
particular
that's like the
school.
keyword there, right?
Yeah, student activities director is a big one. I mean, they have other words that
And you would just
associate.
send like a query letter, essentially?
Yeah, and once I got their name, I would make the database off that, and then hit them all up and say, hey, I'm going to be in the area. This is who I are. Here's our show. Obviously,
Would you
I
say-
worded it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Would you say you'd be in the area even if you weren't?
Even if
gonna
we
be there?
weren't? Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I was right there, yeah.
That goes kind of with booking the college shows, is because they have what's called block booking, and if you ever join NACA, it's like this big organization where you get in front of thousands of students, all the student activities directors and campus activities boards, all these kids basically go to these conferences where professional entertainers, I mean, huge names. I mean, they're all performing left and right, and some of these guys only stop at your booth for maybe like 30 seconds to 5 minutes, and
Okay.
they're just going around booking. And once these kids pack up, they're like, say if the Upper East Coast, you'll have your base rate of, hey, this is how much I want to get paid. But if I do 2 shows in 3 days, I get this amount of money. I'll take 10% off.
Okay,
if I
sure.
do,
bulk
3
rates.
shows in 5 days, if I do 5 shows in 7 days, and they call that block booking in the college work. So, I mean, if you email and you have all these
A
colleges
lot of lingo,
next to each
folks,
other,
to pay attention to.
Yeah,
by the way, 'cause this is a
taking
big
notes.
part of it, right? Like learning.
yeah, definitely. I mean,
phrases.
if you
Not
talk
to
the
change you up where
language,
you're going, sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, if you talk the lingo, you sound more professional.
Look like
and
you've
I
done it
mean,
before.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you were talking to me in the car the other day, like if you don't know what price, like let's say you lowball yourself, like $1,000 when you could be asking for $3, then you also you were telling me it might look like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean it's exactly. It's a perceived notion of your worth. I mean, if you don't know what to ask, and if you had no idea that you could get paid this amount of money as an entertainer, and then you go to a college and you say, yeah, I can put on a great show, and you might have an amazing show, and you'd be like, I can do this for $1,000. Well, they might think you're a good show, but then in their back of the heads, like we deal with people who are asking $3,000 to $5,000 per show, maybe even $10,000. I mean, some pretty big names. So, is your show even to the quality of that you? I mean, if you're a professional, you should know like what the range of pay is, and I mean, and not to go in and say that they wouldn't hire a person for $1,000, because they might have like only that in the budget or whatever it may be. But if you know that you could be getting paid that amount, that's obviously you want to go in the ballpark of knowing their budget to begin with. I mean, that definitely helps.
Yeah. And how do you? I mean, so for me, primarily writing and sending in poetry that gets rejected all the time, more or less. But I research the journals, and I say, which journal is going to reject me? Let me see which one I don't fit into. I'm like, well, maybe this poem fits into here because I read through the journals, see what they're like, make sure that my poetry would fit. Because I don't want to send avant-garde piece to something that's looking for like a classical rhyming couplet.
That's funny that you say that though, because that particular publication may not be interested in that piece of work. But not to say that assistant editor is going to be staying with that publication forever.
Sure.
So he might be going, his passion might be what you're sending him. And yeah, it may not fit for him now, but maybe after emailing this guy once a month for 12 months, he's like, okay, or whatever, if you have a repertoire with him. I mean, even with us, I mean, we are telepathic entertainers, and I can tell you from my rejection notices from colleges that most Catholic schools aren't going to be hiring Two Brothers One Mind anytime soon. I mean, not to say that goes off the wall for everybody, but I mean, a lot of and rightfully so. I mean, if it doesn't go with what they're trying to teach and prep, but it doesn't say I don't email them. I definitely still tell them who I am, and again, you never know if that student activities director or that campus activities board president becomes entertainment booker somewhere in the next 10 years. And that's another thing. I mean, you never know. You're working with so many students. You never know where they're going to go on after this, too.
And I guess a lot of those positions, they'll change after 4 years. I mean, for faculty, either through getting demoted, promoted, or leaving school.
And that's also a tricky thing with the corporate or the college shows is you always have to have that person in contact because every year it switches out. I mean, this student activities director might be a professor that decided to take that for 2 years, and then the next 2 years another student. I mean, he might even be there for 20 years doing it, but his president, because now they're not just the decision makers, they're the ones who bring the information now to the campus activity board, and that's usually a governed student body that then votes on what the students want. And that kind of, here's like a little trick of the trade too, is if you have a university that you have like 30, 40 friends that go to that university, have them in like a 2 or 3 window, go contact the student activities board directly and say, hey, I saw my buddy's band last night at Summerfest, or at this local bar. He was so or don't even say my buddy's band, sorry, take that away. So just say, hey, I saw this band and it was absolutely amazing, and try to synchronize it that you have 40 of your friends, 30 of your friends within like a 3 to 4 day window. Just nail this guy with like Two Brothers One Mind, Two Brothers One Mind, Two Brothers One Mind. I mean, after he hears 20 kids come up to him and say Two Brothers One Mind,
sure,
he's probably going to Google us and see what it's all about. But not only that, the most important part with the student activities board, their job is to bring in entertainment that the student wants. I mean, that's their whole job. They want to put on a successful show that the students like. And if they already have 40, 50, 60 kids that are willing to go to this university activity for the show, I mean, you already have a heads up on that. So when they already have a request coming from the student body, they have to pretty much fulfill those requests before they fill some random Joe Schmo sending them an email like myself.
Oh, and yeah, so that would make okay. Oh.
And I got into that, coaching basketball. I had kids all across the country, and, I'd tell them, hey, if you can do me a favor, get 10 of your friends and just go down and say that you saw our show last weekend, and they were absolutely amazing. Any possibility that you can get two brothers with mine at university, and, anything that you can do. I mean, it's just about getting your information to that person. And then after they see the information, they don't care how it got to them. It's just like, oh, this is a great show. I'm going to put it on,
Well, then brings me to a question I was thinking about. You're talking about like saturating yourself with everyone, bringing the information to people, as you're saying. What kind of press kit do you send links to? A press kit with your query letters? Do you have any type of presentation tips?
I usually throw in a really nice introduction, just saying, hi, my name is Chad Orr. My brother Jeff and I are Hollywood's telepathic entertainers, two brothers with mind. And from there, I kind of, even though it's almost like a copy and paste, if you will, of the general information that I have, like, here's my link to this, here's this. I always personalize everything to it. Everything is personalized. So it does take some time to send out these emails, because you don't want to sound like the guy that's just copy and pasting everything. You do want to have some kind of personal touch.
And you have to address the name at least, right? Which sometimes can take a few clicks.
Yeah, and, if your aunt went to North Carolina and you're, just emailing a college in North Carolina, I mean, mention something personal like that. Hey, my aunt, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I mean, just something personal with that. And, of course, I put the link to our videos. Here's a website. In my signature at the end of my email, we have, our Twitter page, all that other stuff. But, right from there, just try to introduce who I am and that, we're going to be in the area, and just kind of see if I get anything back. And,
that's excellent.
But the other thing was, I mean, obviously, if you can't get to a student activities board, there's a different way, and this actually goes more
even for a mind
music.
reader, you can't get to someone.
I can only read my brother's mind, unfortunately. But if you're a band and you can't get to that student activities director, there's no better place to go 4-wall or 2-wall a show than at a local bar that's on the college campus. I mean, book your own college show. I mean, if you can't get to different colleges by means of them paying you, it's very easy to approach 10 different bars in 10 different cities and say, hey, I'm going to put on a rock show here, I'm going to put on a show. We collect all $5 at the door, and you collect all the liquor sales. They basically get free live entertainment, and not only that, I mean, if you get there a day early, you can go around and, talk about the show or do what you got to do. But, I mean, a band playing at a college, I mean, bars and colleges are busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday anyway. So, I mean, just to have that music there. And then now you're getting known. At least you got like 100, maybe 200 people that have never heard of you before because you're not from Boston, Massachusetts. But at least with that, I mean, it's not going to work with a 5 or 7 piece band. I mean, obviously everybody's going to eat.
Well, it almost never does, right?
Yeah, right.
No offense to bands, but I mean, it's hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah, but if, my brother and I, we can easily, whenever we get hired by a show like a college, a casino, or a resort, we try to find a local bar that's willing to let us just put on a free show. We collect the door, they keep the bar sales, and they're more than happy to print out posters for us and let them hang for a couple
really?
months
You can get them to do printing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll do our own poster, and then we'll send them like a PDF copy or something like that, and they totally print it out. And,
excellent.
And you want to make it look as great as possible, but if it's black and white, I don't care. As long as it has my show information on there and that somebody will be in this venue during that time and day, it works. But, and 4-wall or 2-wall, I mean, however you want to put it, it's 4-walling is when you pay for the theater. So let's say you go to the bar and say, I'm going to pay you $200 and I keep all the door. I mean, that'd be kind of done with the bar.
Well, you do it a place like the Rate.
But like a theater, stuff like that, where approach a theater and say, who's going to be renting it for $400, and then you keep all of the ticket sales. And then a 2-wall is, well, maybe you don't pay the rent, but then you split it, or maybe pay half the rent, and then you keep half of the ticket sales, or kind of go from there. But, I mean, just approaching a bar that's close to university as a band is, I mean, I know so many friends that have done that, and they make bank. They make more than us.
Just from the bar scene, huh?
From the bar scene, a lot of back of the room merchandise. I mean, obviously, if you're going to do it, try to get that T-shirt sales going. If you have any recorded albums, all that.
Gotta sell the merch.
Stuff. Yeah. I mean, merchandise is where the money's at for sure.
Well, I think this would be a good point to give Chad a break, because that was a lot of advice to stew up right now. That was some good stuff. Thank you. So what we're going to listen...
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great having you on.
Drinking my coffee when you're...
No, yes. Drink away, man. we're going to go through a brief music block, and then we're going to have Chad right back with us from Two Brothers, One Mind. We're going to bring up a band, a friend of mine. Sadly, this band is, I think, breaking up now. They've done about 3 EPs, but they're starting 2 more bands. So they don't stop. They've been in a lot. This is Stock Options. The track is called You Can Call Me Bruises. It's off of Ancient Bloom. All right, yeah, that was You Can Call Me Bruises from Stock Options. Really happy to hear that one. Sad they're not around anymore, but I'm glad we can get in there. So we're at a special segment because we have enough time. Chad and I are going to do an off-the-cuff recreation or telling of how I spent yesterday. Chad, do you want to start this one out?
Well, first off, I coached some basketball. I've always been a big fan of coaching basketball, and one day I just threw it at Adam like, hey, you want to come down to basketball practice? And we went back and forth. You're telling me that you got some skills. You can play a little
Well, I never said I had skills.
You told me that you could slam dunk. No.
360 slam dunk. Well, I was not doing a handstand.
Well, you're doing a handstand.
Well, I told you I used to play, and I'm a little rusty, but it was the only sport I played, and so, yeah.
Right, so if there was any game that you were good at, to any other sport, that was definitely your sport. So,
which
surprised me. I mean, because I never knew that about you. I've known you for years. I mean, we could have been playing basketball a long time ago.
I know, it bummed me out. That now I think about it.
And then, I coach a basketball every Thursday and Friday, and Adam decided to come up to practice with me in the 100-degree heat yesterday.
Feels like.
Yeah, feels like
105. Yeah,
seriously. But yeah, we played pretty hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. We ran for
about 2 hours of basketball.
2 hours of basketball practice. Probably ran a good hour and a half to hour 40 of it. Just trying to scrimmage and keep the blood flowing.
I gotta be honest. I was a little upset at first because, well, we had to cram in that car with Marco. What up, Marco? If you're listening,
Marco.
And you waited in the car for a while, going on your phone, setting your stuff up, as Marco and I are just sweating on each other, feeling each other's body.
I forgot about that car seat in the car, and you guys had to squeeze in the back seat together. That was pretty funny.
But then I could tell you were getting more into coaching aggressive mode. Like, I don't want these kids to beat me, and you kept starting these games up, but then the games weren't really starting. So I think, this is the game we're playing, so I'm going to use a lot of energy. And they'd be like, all right, new game. Some more kids came in, new game. We're going to start all over again. So
so every game to you was going to be the last game. So pretty much just overexerted yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Well, for the first 20 minutes. and then I started thinking, and I waited.
And it was probably a bad sign, like, when there was only 2 kids in the gym and you already had a full-blown sweat going on 15 minutes in from playing horse.
Yeah.
No, I'm a sweater, too. I'm a very overly excessive sweater. But, yeah, that was monumental yesterday between the adults versus the kids. I think probably sweated as well.
Do you remember the final score, by the way?
I don't know, but I know we won probably about...
We won.
Yeah, that's all I know.
We won. Take that, kids.
But then I got a little nervous for you. I'm not gonna lie, man. We got into the car and you looked like a zombie.
Oh, really? I got pale?
Yeah.
Or what?
Well, I was driving in the front seat, so I really couldn't look back, but I couldn't see your head, so that's one.
And I was kind of going in a fetal position at the time.
In my child's seat in the back, just crouched over. And then it came, didn't it?
It came a few times.
What happened there?
I was feeling okay. I was getting, the endorphin high. I was playing basketball. I haven't worked, as I've told you, I've worked office jobs for like the past 3 years. I used to always do physical labor. So long story short, those kids beat me up. I was tired.
So to go from like no running for 3 years to full-blown 140-degree temperature.
Out there for an hour and a half, like you said, straight, like 2 hours overall. And yeah, we all lost like a few pounds sweating, right? And I just started feeling sick, and then I told you I might need to have you pull over. And then you were like, just let me know. Actually, you said let me know before I told you because you could tell.
Yeah, I could totally tell that you're about to, something wasn't well with you at that current moment. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not going to go on the freeway home. I'm just going to take North Avenue all the way.
You kept saying, like, it's only 148 more blocks.
Yeah, it's only 148 more blocks. You can hold it, buddy.
And the longest car ride, man.
And then there was one that we just knew, man. You're just like, oh no. So I tried to get over, and when you got a buddy about to throw up in your car, the last thing you think about is the child lock.
Yeah.
In the back seat.
I don't. Yeah.
And so I pulled over, assuming that you can get out of the car. Like, child lock, child lock, child lock, child.
I wanted to get out so bad.
I'm trying to roll down the window for you so you could like reach out the window and just like pull the handle yourself. And then I finally got it open, and then you're just like, too weak. That was your answer.
remember because when you first rolled it down, I thought you just wanted me to go out the window, and then you said, "No, I want you to reach over." So I tried, and it wasn't long enough. I couldn't find it.
But then miraculously, you got enough energy to walk out of the car and then go into the forest, and without eyesight. Now I'm like, why did he go where I can't see this guy? I think he's about to die on me.
I didn't know you cared so much. Wow. Or that my condition was so severe. Wow, yeah.
And then you heaved for a good, 10 minutes almost. It felt like you were gone for. No, probably a good 5 minutes.
I need a lot of time, and I expelled out right away. Like just on my whole veggie sandwich I had over, I saw the yellow pepper come out. I saw the cucumber, and I went out of sight because I like to get on my hands and knees when I have to vomit and get close to that earth and make sure nothing gets on my clothes. And as I told you when I got back, I didn't want to lose my pride in front of you and your family, your wife and your kid and your friend I just met. Like, hey, how you guys doing? And I felt great. Then I got back in the car.
And then lost your pride about 5 minutes later when was about 128 blocks to go.
We made it 20 blocks.
Which is great because, you were so, chippy right after that first initial go at it. You were like, I feel great, dude. Let's go play another game, man. This is awesome. Give me another veggie sandwich.
Yeah.
And
burrito on the side, right?
And this one, I knew it was more immediate, and you're like, no, and I had nowhere to go, so I had to turn into the one-way, wrong-way exit of a funeral home, and before I could even stop
I got one for you, funeral home. I got him right here. He's already died.
He's almost there, folks. And then you didn't even care about the door. You just heaved right outside that, like Dukes of Hazzard style, and just half body out and...
Well, at that point, I knew I was going to do more. I knew that it was going to, because I had this happen right on this time last year, because I had to move with my friend Corey Husher, and he helped me move for a whole day, all this furniture, and it was the same feeling, when you're out in the heat and you're lifting or you're running, horrible. And just that you're, So I knew more was coming.
Oh man, and it
did.
And it did on the third trip back home. Oh man, we got into. Well, now we're almost home. We're
getting real close.
More than halfway for sure. And unfortunately, this was in not the safest neighborhood. I guess we can go and put it that way. And immediately turn the corner. Adam's half his body out the window, just projectile. And everybody in the neighborhood was out. If they weren't out watching, they soon came out to watch. It was a sideshow in action.
I saw one guy look and then run in his home.
Yeah, he was parallel parking his car.
Right in front of me.
Just starts running out. And it was even funnier than we had that one kid on his bike that turned around, looked over his shoulder, and just shook his head at you. And he had to get a second look. He turned his bike around and almost nailed into the other biker, which would have been hilarious. But,
oh, man.
Not to laugh at you while you were throwing up, but it was so comical. You were a great sport about it. You were obviously in dire need of medical attention and hydration at that point. And just there's my pride.
Well, I appreciate you guys being so great through the whole thing. And driving the long distance as well. Like you said, 183 blocks to go, so that's a lot of blocks.
Sorry, I was laughing so hard and the car was laughing at you, but it wasn't you. It was the situation more than anything, but... It was kind of hard to watch that. I got clear view in my rearview mirror. You're on my side of the car, so that was pretty. Which I'm surprised. Thank God my fiance moved the car seat from one side to the middle. If you guys would have been on each other's lap,
it would have been Reese or Marco then.
Oh, and you were in the middle.
Oh man,
in that whole situation.
And I would have went to Marco, so Marco should be the one who was happy that it happened.
Yeah.
Well, we got to wrap it up here, but it's been a pleasure having you on here again.
Yeah, thanks, man. Anytime. I appreciate you guys having me through.
Oh, and is Chad Orr, you have Two Brothers One Mind? You got a website or anything you want to plug? Or?
Yeah, look us up. We're at twobrothers1mind.com. It's all spelt out. You can find us on Facebook.com/twobrothersmind, YouTube.com/twobrothers1mind, and then Twitter's the only one that has a number because our characters are too long for Twitter. So it's the number 2, brothers, the number 1, mind.
Excellent. Yes. Well, we're going to leave everyone out with a song Gotham Sonic. This is from Diametric Correlator. You can again find this on Stir Up Your Gray Matter. Thanks again to Chad Orr. We'll see you all next week.
Just the volume, just the volume. Make sure you're finding yourself in the garbage can around the sewers, and I can't behave like a beehive behind a grave. No, it's not difficult to see a place like your house in the woods. Batman and Robin will come too soon, will come too soon. Gotham's doom, Gotham's doom, and more. There's nothing more than this. As home, I was flying, I was round like a lion in the face of death. Did I stare and I saw what appeared to be more than just moss growing north. I saw there's more than all the stars I can see, but they are higher. They're higher than me, and I'm a kite. Putting my hand up, saying night under the common stars, common ground of every life. Want to fly past the stars. I'm kind of like that fiction. It's just like all the fiction, but with less descriptives.